Okay, so sorry, I'm just pardon myself. I'm a little bit sick still, but this video is going to be detailing the quick kill found on one of the mid bosses in stage 2 of Rocket Knight Adventures. This kill used to be quite a wall, I think, for a lot of runners, including new and old runners. I think I might have found something consistent now that I've picked up the game, and I'm hoping that it might come in handy for everybody else like it did for me. But I'm going to just start by showing this kill in real time, and then we're going to do it frame by frame. I'm going to detail the steps. Okay, so there you have it. That's what it looks like in real time. It looks pretty crazy, and it is, but hopefully with my steps, it's going to be a little bit easier to understand and perhaps a little easier to execute it properly. So now, I do things a little bit differently here compared to how it used to be done. So I'm going to try and detail it by the frame, so that you at least have a better understanding of it. So we're going to stop here. Now, right here, this is the point where you can see I'm just about to rocket boost here off of this vine. It will take me to the mid-boss room here. And this rocket boost is going to actually make me connect with this platform right here. And it's going to shift me to the other side of this waterfall here. It looks a little awkward there, but trust me, that's how it's always going to work. Doesn't matter if what you do, but it will allow you to cling to this vine here. And now we're coming up to where this mid boss was, or this mid boss is. And now we're coming up to the first step of how I do this. So right now we're clinging onto this vine here. We're gonna walk pretty much right to the very end of this, or at least as close to the end of it as possible. I kind of stop a little bit early here, I have to admit. I think it'd probably be maybe just a little bit safer to maybe just be a few frames further right before you stop and decide to actually drop off here, which is what I'm going to be doing here. You see I stop, and now I let go of the vine, and I drop off here. And this allows me to, because this platform here is on the other side of the waterfall, I'm not going to be able to land on it. So instead, I'm going to land on these spikes here. And then what that ends up doing is, well, actually before that, I actually switch. You see that I quickly shift my positioning to face the other way here. And that will back boost me right onto this platform here, which I will advance frame here. There you go. You can see I got hit by the spike, and I actually will boost myself right onto this platform here, and that will in turn shift me behind the waterfall, which is exactly where we want to be. This boss, and the reason why that is important is because this boss, he's going to be spawning on that side of the waterfall, the same side I'm on now. So that's the first important thing, is make sure you're on the proper side of the waterfall. And the other important thing with this step of dropping off the vine is that make sure you don't drop off too early. If you drop off too early, your iframes start ticking a lot faster, and your ability to do the next step is very thin. Like, in fact, I have failed this step because I drop off the vine too early. It has happened. So that's the first major thing you want to avoid, is dropping off this vine up here too early. Dropping off when I did in this demonstration is fine. It may even be just a slight tidge too early, even. Because I don't know exactly how much frames of generosity I have to actually pull off this next step. But it is important that I drop off within a certain, you know, as late as I possibly can, so that my iframes are ticking just long enough that I can perform the next step of this setup that I have for the quick kill. Okay, so now I'm out of hit stun there, and the next thing I'm going to do, okay, normally in past quick kills of this fight, top runners would jump off this platform, and they would jump up, and then they would rocket boost upward and land a hit with the rocket boost. I find this timing to be pretty inconsistent for the most part. I personally prefer my setup to be quite a bit more consistent, at least getting the iframes to work in my favor. But so what I'm going to do instead of jumping off the platform and doing it the old way, I'm actually going to walk off this platform. Remember, I'm still in iframe, so I can get away with this. And see, I'm walking off, and I'm about to land on these spikes, but I'm in iframes. And then I'm going to position myself right here, right in that spot here. And it's important I position myself here because I want to be just far enough. I want to be just far enough away from this platform so that when I get back boosted, I don't have Sparkster end up going straight through this platform and somehow miraculously winding up on the other side of the waterfall. That's just not a good situation. And you don't want to be too far this way because you'll end up getting hit back and landing on this platform instead of on this vine in the background here behind the waterfall. Like, that's the goal here. We want to get hit back, but we don't want to land on this platform. We don't want to wind up getting on this platform in any way, shape, or form. We want to get on this vine. That is the most key and important thing for this next part. So positioning, well, it's not the most important part. It's one of two important things with this step. It's pretty complex, I know, but positioning is one of the important things with this step here. But this positioning here is what you kind of want to shoot for, and just a little bit more on this spike, just a little bit onto this spike here, but mostly you want to be standing on this spike here. Now, the next step, this is the more complicated part, is when to time your upward rocket boost. What I do is I listen for a sound cue. I know, pretty simple. You'd think that something like that wouldn't be that simple, but it actually is. All I do is I listen for a sound cue, and my sound cue is related to the mid-boss track of this game. So I'm just going to start by kind of just playing the beginning of this track for you. I won't continue the actual video, but here's how the track actually goes at the start. So you can kind of tell right there that the track itself starts off with, like, I don't know, 4 sets of double beats or double notes. That's the sound cue I use is the second set of the double notes. So taking that into account, that's the sound cue I use to begin my rocket boost up. And yeah, you can see how it sounds simple. Well, if you're still confused about it, I'm actually gonna backward rewind this and actually perhaps play this over and over again until you might get a handle of the sound cue. So I'll do it about 3 times. Okay, and again. And one more time. So you can see that I'm waiting on that second set. Remember, there's 4 sets of the double notes. I wait for the second set. That is the sound cue I use when I want to rocket boost upwards. And when I do rocket boost upwards... What? Oh, sorry. Okay, hang on. Let me just... Okay, so now that we've affirmed what my sound cues are and what my positioning is, now that when we get now we know when to do the rocket boost, and we're gonna okay. I'm just there we go. So now there's the oh jeez. This is the problem with showing this fight, is that sometimes when you land a hit, it does stupid shit like that. But once you land that rocket boost, you'll land down, and you'll hit the spike, and you get knocked back. And there you see I dodged the platform, and I land on the vine. And there we go. Now I'm out of hit stun. Now, you could probably already tell, this is another big difference that from my strat over the old strat, is that I get hit to the left side instead of the right side. It's not as optimal. Well, actually, I don't know if that's actually true or not. But the reason I go for the left side is actually because of this mini boss's pattern, the snake boss's pattern. Watch carefully as I go frame by frame here. You can see, pay very close attention to this red ball here. It moves in such a manner that now I'm like just crawling up, and I'm just about to jump off the vine. And you see this weak point is literally going to be right beside me, just in time for me to jump right off of it, meet up with it, and start hacking and slashing it. Sorry for the weird black screenness. I really don't know why they had this kind of effect going on when you land hits. But from here on out, this last part of the fight is just down to practice. Just time, properly short hop off and start slashing. Well, I don't know if it's a short hop, but hop off the vine and then just meet with the tail and just start hacking and slashing. You want to try to somewhat switch your position so that your back is then facing this way, so that you're somewhat boosted this way. That's probably the only thing to add to this last part here. And there you go. I'm still hacking and slashing here. And you can see I'm still in iframes. And this is why it's very, very, very important to get the timing of that upward rocket boost down, is because it gives you just enough iframes to not get hit by the spike while you're trying to kill this. They're trying to finish the tail off here. And I'm just trying to wait for the killing blow. I think the killing blow happens right here. It's still, okay, there I got hit. I hit right there, and there the explosion happens. This isn't the most optimal kill, I have to admit. I actually missed quite a few slashes, but I was still able to get the quick kill out of this. So that really goes to show that, it's not quite as difficult as once believed. So at least doing it my way, I find anyway. Now, if there's one thing I do have to make a complaint about with my setup here, it's the way it ends here. You notice that I'm still on the back side of this waterfall. You don't want that. You want to be on the front side of the waterfall. And the reason for that is because of that. You can see the spikes are in the background here. They block you off. I was actually forced to, in this particular, whoops. You can see that when I'm forced to, you see that I was forced to move back and jump onto that platform to put myself in front of the waterfall so that I could get past these spikes and continue on with the rest of the stage. And that's kind of the one disadvantage. So, I mean, I still got to play test around with this boss fight more, see if my setup can kind of work in my favor a little more, and try to somewhat get a more consistent way to actually land on this platform here, so that I can be in front of the waterfall and not really lose like a second and a half. But that's kind of my setup. for how I do the quick kill with any sort of consistency whatsoever. I do hope this, but yeah, sorry. I'm just going to play, taking what we learned now, let's watch this now again in real time, and maybe now you might somewhat understand how everything works in real time. There you go. That's my strat for the quick kill. I hope you've all learned something from that. I hope the quick kill is now a little bit easier, at least a little bit about as easy now as, well, I wouldn't even say it's easy, but I hope this video helped you out if you were struggling with that kill, because I really do think this setup is consistent for me, and I hope it's consistent for you. Anyway, that's it. That's really all I got to show. Thanks for watching.